Have you heard of the exit tax that applies when you leave Singapore? The tax bill that applies on your unvested stock, the options that you've received as part of your employment. In this video, we're going to look at what this all means and how it applies to Australian expats living and working in Singapore. So let's get started. Hi there, I'm Jared Brown, Australian expat financial planner based here in Singapore. Thank you for tuning into the video today. Now in this video, we're looking at the exit tax, or more formally known as the deemed exercise rule. So these are employee stock that you're granted as part of your remuneration plan, or employee options that you're granted again as part of your compensation. So if you're an Australian expat working for a multinational or company here in Singapore, that does pay you or remunerate you in the form of options or stock, you could be impacted by this deemed exercise rule. So what happens when you actually cease employment or you actually depart the country and cease employment is you have this deemed exercise rule apply. The way it's actually determined is the tax office and HR effectively calculate the value of those shares or those restricted units, the unvested options, 1 month before your employment ceases, and that is what the tax bill is calculated on, as if you'd received the full benefit. So this will be on any options, vested or otherwise, stock, vested or otherwise. If there is stock that is still restricted and you're going to hold that stock on a restricted basis, then the tax will only apply once those restrictions are lifted. So what does this all mean for Australian expats? First and foremost, it means we need to be aware that this tax bill could be coming. So if you're going to part ways with your employer when you leave, or even if you're going to move back with your employer, make sure you're fully aware of what this tax bill could be on options, stock, what the value might look like, and any waivers or otherwise that your employer might be able to apply for. The second item to consider is to work out whether you can or should change the ownership structure of any of these shares or options. Should you wrap it in a trust, in an insurance bond? Can you transfer it to super? Should you hold it in joint names? Can you in fact change the ownership structure at all? Or is it restricted and are you required to hold it in your name only? Now there is no one size fits all here. Some companies have more options and will grant a change of ownership request, and some companies will not. So you do need to speak with your HR and seek professional advice, particularly tax and financial advice, and work through your options here. The third item to consider, or third factor, third variable to be aware of, is to really, when you are negotiating your contract, your remuneration plan, speak with your HR and really understand what those tax implications are going to be when you actually leave the country. Most Australian expats are not going to be here forever. It's a lovely place to live, work, it certainly delivers great opportunities, but the majority of us are not going to retire here. So make sure you're fully informed of what this tax bill is going to be, what your rights and options are, what your options might look like in terms of negotiating and being a bit more flexible with that remuneration, and make sure you're not hit with any nasty tax surprises and you're actually going to be leaving the country with the amount of money that you thought you would be leaving with. So seek some advice on this one. It is a complex area. It does vary company to company with the way these things are structured. So make sure you seek advice, but I hope that at least gives you a bit of food for thought, or at least a bit of a kick in the right direction to seek some advice if you are remunerated with shares or options with your employer, and make sure you know your rights and what those future bills are going to be. So thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.